What is happening? Well, welcome to Let's Get Acquainted with Hillary Gooden. I welcome you to my show tonight and to this being the first show for July. And as you may have seen in the notification that in the title, this is the National Anti-Boredom Month. You know, every month we have a different theme. And so for the entire month on the show, me and my guests will be discussing from our different perspectives about this topic, anti-boredom. And so my special guest with me tonight is Dr. Michael Freeland. Some of you may know him as DJMike. And, you know, I just found out something. He's a traveling executive DJ. That's no joke. He's also an international speaker. So he's going to tell us about himself. Let us get a little more acquainted with him on the second half of the show. But for the first half, we will be talking about Anti-Boredom Month. And you'll be surprised. This is going to be a really great topic. And so as you're sharing this out, I'm going to give you, let's see, we got a little 30-second countdown that's going to, between me and you getting this shared out, and then I'm going to bring on my guest for tonight, Dr. Michael Freeland. So let me find this little 30-second countdown. I hope it'll play. I could play it myself. That'll be kind of cool. All right, so I'm gonna have to do that again because I still got some places I want to share this out to. But I hope you got a chance to share it out. And as you come in, please do put in the comments, say a quick hello, and let us know where you're coming in from so we can shout you out. So here is my guest coming out tonight, Dr. Michael Freeland.
Yes.
That's kind of hard because I'm always saying DJMike. But he is Dr. Michael Freeland. Do not get it twisted, okay?
Absolutely.
And so I'm so glad to have you on with me today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the honor of just being here with you. You're doing some amazing work, some fantastic life-altering things that bring awareness to people all around the world, and I appreciate you for having me. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you. That was nice. That made me feel all special.
Yes.
Thank you. So, you know, I was thinking when I was looking for what would be the national month of what, and it was for July, there was a lot about culinary stuff, foods, and some other really heavy stuff that I was like, I don't want that. That's not, I don't feel that. I don't feel this. But then I saw anti-boredom, and I thought, is this going to resonate with anybody? But guess what? You know, because I know I was reading some of the comments when you posted the flyer on your page. Somebody said, "Oh, DJMike, he never has a problem with boredom. This is going to be interesting." So I was like, "Yeah, I think the same thing." But as I did my research, we're going to really get on into this, and so. I don't know. This has been around. We're going to just kind of go through some of the foundational stuff with it. It was founded in 1984 by a guy named Alan Karuba, and he was a journalist. And so it was quite unintentional, and that's so amazing. Sometimes the thing that God will give you purpose for in your life to do that turns out to be your purpose was something you kind of stumbled upon.
Yes.
I kind of stumbled upon this whole lymphology thing, you know, and I was like, oh, that's it. That brings the pieces of my puzzle together. And so this thing brought the pieces of his puzzle together.
Yes.
So it's the observance is to, can you read that for me?
Yes.
You know,
observance, encourage encourages everyone to identify what makes us bored and find ways to combat it.
Yes. And when I think of boredom, we mostly are people that say, I don't have nothing to do. Or you
Right.
hear the kids say, it ain't nothing to do. I'm bored. And
Yes.
you
Yes.
tell them there's plenty of things you can do. You go clean your room. You can go cut the grass. You can
Right.
go out, run around the block, go shoot some hoops or something.
Yes.
But what makes us bored? That's what our discussion is tonight. So do you ever have a problem with boredom?
I
Dr.
used to. I used to have a problem with boredom, and I'll tell you why. Because and it's so befitting that you're a lymphologist, and here I am on your show, and one of the messages I speak about is the Milroy's disease that I've had my entire life, and it just marries perfectly. So, thank you for what you do. But what I'm saying is that when I was sick as a kid, I got bored in the sense that I didn't know what to do, because sometimes people don't necessarily know what to do. It's not that they don't want to do anything, but finding the actual avenue to give them some enjoyment or some excitement, because we all know that you can watch the movie that really sparks your interest, and you'll probably love the movie the first time you watch it. But if you watch that movie 2, 3, 4, 5 times, you begin to lose interest. So it's not so much that you don't have anything to do, but it's the repetition of what you have done that may actually create some boredom, because when you get used to looking at the same old thing, sometimes it takes a whole different outlook on what you believe to be boring.
Yeah.
So I understand that fully. Thank you.
Yeah, there was this commercial for Las Vegas, people to come to Las Vegas, and they said, you want to do something different. So you get tired of the same old, same old. Why? Because it's old.
Right.
And so this guy, he now I'm hearing this echo. Let's see. What did I have for him? Because we associate, okay, we went through that, associated with nothing to do. I got quite a few points here that I wanted to keep going at. But the thing was for him, how he got into this whole thing, and then I have to backtrack. How he got into this whole thing was he was watching the Macy's Thanksgiving parade in 1984. And when he got done, when it was over, he thought, that was boring. Cheers. Thanksgiving Macy's parade. And the one before that and the one before that. And I bet you I know what the next one's going to look like. It's going to look like this one. And so he said, you know what? That was just really boring. I'm going to do a press release. He was a journalist, so he used to doing a press release like it was nothing. So he said, I'm going to do a press release. And he made up a company or organization called the Boring Institute. And he was doing it just for the fun of it. He thought it would be funny.
Right.
But what happened was he began to get letters after letters after letters, a lot of letters. He said, and not one of them was funny. He said, well, none of them funny. He said there were so many bored people on the brink of suicide, depression. Wow. That's why I say this is right up your alley too, because you're talking about your mental real of state, right? Are you really bored, or what's really going on there?
Yeah. I believe, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I want you to go ahead and comment on that.
I was going to say that, we talk about boredom, but we also don't necessarily, sometimes we forget about the mental aspect that goes into being bored. And, and a lot of times, well, it's not a lot of times, every single time that you find yourself bored, it may not be because you can't find something to do. It may not be because you're getting tired of doing the same old thing. It could be a mindset of what you have actually gone through, what you have dealt with, and what is actually facing you. Because a lot of times with boredom, sometimes comes the thought, and the thought of being bored really puts you in a position to understand that, listen, I may not know exactly what I need to do right now, but what I am contemplating is what I'm not doing. See, if we get stuck in the mindset of understanding what we're not doing, then we can find ourselves becoming bored. But listen, when you get the thought process in yourself, in your mentality, and understand that if you start pursuing the things that you believe you can be doing, then you create the interest that really will help bring you out of the boredom. The boredom really sticks you into a place of understanding that, look, I may not have nothing to do, and I'm thinking so much about what I'm not doing I become bored. But if you begin to think forward, thinking about what you can possibly be doing, because this is what happens is when you're sitting at home and you become bored, a lot of times people will go to sleep. They'll call somebody that they really don't want to talk to, or they'll find themselves in the kitchen finding something to eat on. And it really puts them in a stagnant position. They're not moving. They're not doing anything. And their thoughts are clogged with just the fact that I am not doing anything. But what happens is when we also continue to move through that, when we press through being bored, then you start to realize that even though I'm sitting at home and I may not be doing the things that I may want to do, is there something else that I can do? Is there something else that interests me? Because the interest is broad, but you have to find the things that interest you to help bring yourself out of the boredom. Thank you so much.
Exactly. And that's what I wanted to get to next, about stimulating. Are you not what you're talking about? And what I wanted to get to was some of the repetitious things, those things that are so routine, they no longer stimulate you or stimulate your mind.
Right.
You know, they don't challenge you. And then you, again, like you said, you have to find something that will challenge you. You have to get up out of that seat, get up out of that mindset to try something different. Maybe something that you always thought maybe you would try one day. Right. And you might find that the very thing that could just pull you out of it or change your life.
Right.
You know, even. And so one of the other things he was saying, I found this just really so fascinating. He said he believed that in America, boredom lurks behind everything from the school dropout, obesity, rising crime, depression, suicide, and the list could go on and on.
Yes.
Just lurking behind it.
Yes.
You know?
I believe that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And this just so, he also said it's like, and you see, here we go hitting on the DJ part of you. It's like background noise.
Yes.
It's like that music playing in the background.
Yes.
Always kind of there.
Yes. You know, and that's what I love about the music. And see, when it comes to being bored, there's always something you can find to do. And see, when you gravitate to something that you really love more than anything, then you find that what you love is just so easy to do. And I know that when it comes to me being a DJ, when it comes to me having something to do, when it comes to music, it is my total zen. It is the place that I go personally that really helps me to gravitate to the things that I love, the things that I want to do, and the things that I need to do and should do. So when I talk about DJing, when I talk about music, it's something how I can just put on a song and just let it play real soft. But listen, what does it do for you to be able to hear something that is relaxing? You know, boredom is a state of mind. But if you understand that sometimes just to get into a place that you can relax, therein lies the answer to understand. Listen, I can sit at home by myself and still not be bored because I'm doing something that helps me to relax, because I'm not thinking about being bored. I'm not thinking about the things that I'm not doing. What I am thinking about is the things that I love. And for everybody else that's dealing with boredom, that may have to face dealing with suicide, dealing with being criticized, dealing with being in the position you don't want to be in, this is why when it comes to the music, when it comes to DJ Mike J and what I do, and Dr. Michael Freeland and what I do, that it is important that we get together on different levels and know how to fix ourselves. When others can't speak into you, you got to find that place that you can speak into yourself. Thank you so much, Dr. Hillary.
Yes. See, I told you this was going to be, and you probably wasn't even thinking we was going to go this route, were you? Did you?
No, not at all. But
I didn't either. I was thinking, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about. How long can we talk about anti-boredom?
Yes.
You know, but it finds out the reason behind this whole observance of anti-boredom is deep. It's deeper than surface.
Yes.
It's deeper than surface. Yes. And so for that, I'm really glad that Alan Aruba, even, you know, sometimes, like I say, that thing that you might think is a fluke is the very thing that changed the whole trajectory of your life, your life's purpose.
Absolutely.
You know, because he went on that he wrote about boredom and anti-boredom and depression, and just found himself talking about a whole lot of other things that I just was seeing a tree with roots, you know, that it was more roots to this thing than he thought. Right. And that's just like anything that like I do.
Right.
One of the first things that we have to talk about is the mindset. You know, we talked about mindset earlier, but that's really it's so key to anything that we want to do in this life.
Right. And let me
You know?
piggyback on what you just said. You said something real profound, a tree that has roots, so you have to get yourself embedded into something that matters to you. But here's the thing is what I'm learning with that, when a tree doesn't have roots, we already know it's not going to thrive. It's not going to survive. It's going to die. You can pull a tree with all the roots right out of the ground and watch what happens in a month. That tree is not going to be there anymore.
That's
so
right.
What I'm saying is understanding that when it comes to boredom, and let me caution all of our audience members, pay attention to the people that you see that say that they're bored. Now, I'm going to throw this in just as a side note. When I was growing up, and I'm sure when you was growing up, that was one of the last things we wanted to grow up saying is that we was bored, because we already knew that mom or dad would say, oh, so you bored? Let me find you something to do.
Here's a broom, here's a mop, get busy.
You be cleaning. We couldn't wait to get lost. But on the other side of that, I want people to understand that when I said pay attention to the people that say that they're bored, because it's important that we get that they are going somewhere mentally. When they say that they're bored, there are someplace mentally that you don't know and that you may not understand. So it's important at some point that we get to a place and ask them, hey, what's on your mind? Well, I'm bored. Well, why are you bored? What is it about what you're doing that is boring you? Because see, sometimes people are sitting on the ideas, but we don't have it in us to bring it out of them. But if we can bring the ideas out of somebody, because asking the question stirs the mind. And if you can stir the mind, guess what? You can work through boredom by getting them to respond, by getting them to understand more about who? Themselves.
Exactly. And I have found that sometimes I get tickled at myself asking people questions. Somebody I just met, just standing in line with or something.
Yes.
I don't mean to do it, but one question and an answer leads to another question and an answer and another. My mind just gets so inquisitive. That's why I got this show, Let's Get Acquainted. Because I really want to know you. I really want to know more about who you are and what you do. You know, how do you think? How does your mind work? But I found sometimes the people I really didn't know, they didn't really know me, but I can ask a series of questions and nothing planned, just based on what they're saying, makes my mind think of another question. And then you find out they'll get up in a place that's really real.
Yes.
That they didn't even know that was going to come out. And they say, man, I never told anybody this. Why am I telling you?
Right.
Well, let's talk about it. Because sometimes, like you said, it's lurking.
Right.
It's lurking in the background. Sometimes it's that background music that you're not really paying attention to, but it's there. And that's just like having background music that is, say like when it's at work, if you're at work and you got background music that is slow and relaxing like that, you were just playing.
Yes.
Maybe that might not be what you need for the work that you're doing. Maybe you need some music that's more boom, boom, got a beat to it and make you get through that, get through the work that you're doing. Sometimes you need different music. Some music that you will hear are some of those thoughts.
Yes.
Some of those thoughts that are lingering. Sometimes they're kind of far off. Mm-hmm. And again, you'll say, man, I'm just so bored. But yet, I saw this the other day, and I want to hear what you had to say. A lady was saying, I was in a little group setting, and she was asking everybody, she said, I want you to answer this question, the first thing on your mind. And so everybody was answering. Got to this one lady, she said, nothing was on my mind. She said, my mind was clear. And I was thinking, I used to date a guy years ago that said, Hillary, what's on your mind? I said, nothing. He said, how could you sit there with nothing on your mind? It's got to be something, something on your mind. And then, that would make me think, well, I guess I was kind of thinking about this or that. But this lady, she was adamant. She said, I often have times where I don't think about, there's nothing on my mind. Those of you that's listening in the audience, and we're going to get to some of your comments. If I ask you what's on your mind, do you feel like you would honestly say, there's nothing on my mind? Put a 2 in the comment if that's you. Or if you always got something on your mind, well, you wouldn't be putting that 2 there. But if you're one of those people that can sit and have absolutely nothing on your mind, put a 2 in the comment.
Yes.
So let's go to the comments and see who's with us today. Yes, thank you so much. I knew I said this is going to be right up his alley, and mine
Yes,
too.
absolutely.
I love it. So let's see. We got Shannon Mitchell. She says, "Great topic. Thank
Hey,
you,
thank you.
Shannon. Let us know
Yes,
where you're coming in from."
yes.
And who we got there?
Hey, Dr.
Nito
Lotus Rashay.
coming
Hello
in
from
from
Washington, D.C. Hey, Dr.
DC.
Lotus, hello.
Yeah, she said, "No foundation, no sustainable growth." That's true.
Absolutely.
Got to have
Absolutely.
a sure foundation.
Right,
And then
right.
Angela Elton said, "Hello from DC." You can read
Yes,
this one here.
yes. Just shared to several pages, and you can too. I just shared to mental real estate. Amen. Thank you, Dr. Lotus. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And
Yes,
Angela Elton said, "It's my favorite two people." Yay. You are
absolutely.
favorite too.
Hey, Ange. Yes, yes.
Yes, and so
You
she
know,
said,
go
"Hey,
ahead.
Hillary and DJ Mike." Oh, here's one. We got somebody coming in. Miss Kathy Williams coming in. She
Yes.
says, "Hello from Chicago." Hey, Kathy, thank you
Hey,
for coming
hello.
in.
Good evening. Yes,
Read this one for me. This is kind of long.
absolutely. Okay. You must see there's more to it than bored. Are they in a season of regret or a season of stress or a season of disappointment? What's the root of it all? We need to ask the questions. I like that.
That's
I
so
like that.
true. We have to
You
ask
know,
questions. Yeah, because people sometimes people don't dig deep. Hey,
yes.
Nelson, thank you for coming in. Nelson, you mean to tell me you can have times where you don't have nothing on your mind? That's what that two was for. Think about that again. Because
Yes.
you seem like you always got a lot on your mind when I talk to you.
You know, I'm gonna throw something out there, and I just
Yeah,
kind of want to see
please.
what people have to think about, what they have to say about this boredom word that we talk about. Because I mean, we said that boredom is a state of mind, but let me challenge you with something. My personal belief when it comes to boredom is that the word boredom is a distraction to the action. Let me
Uh-oh.
say that again. The word boredom is I believe is a distraction to the action, because if I can get you distracted into understanding just how bored you are, you may not want to do anything, may not feel like doing anything. Guess what it does? It disables you from taking action on anything, not just some things, anything. Boredom sets you down on the couch. Boredom lets you watch television shows that you don't even like. Boredom puts you to sleep at 5:30 in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is when we accept the word boredom, we become distracted from acting. We can't do something if we're sitting on our hands because we have accepted the fact that I'm bored. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't feel like it, as we said before. We don't feel like it. But what is the feeling of boredom?
Mm-hmm.
What do you describe as a feeling of boredom?
Right.
The inability to act on what you know, what you can show, and how you can grow. Oh man, the
Uh-oh.
distraction, the distraction from the action. Come on now,
I
I
like
love it.
that one there. That need to be on a t-shirt. I
Yes,
like that. Because yeah, it's your mind is always working. It's always recalibrating.
yes,
It's constantly doing that recalibration, based on what you're doing or not doing, what you said you was going to do versus what you're actually doing. And, it just recalibrates all day long,
yes,
you know, and it's amazing that it's always something going on there. And I used
yes,
to say I was bored a lot too coming up. And I would watch other people. I would sit on my front porch and I would watch other people like skating. I wanted to learn
right,
how to skate, but I didn't want to fall in the street in front of everybody. Stupid.
yes,
That's where everybody else was falling, and they're great skaters today.
yes,
But I did a lot of watching and observing other people, and but I should have been out there in the game.
yes,
It was that border was just a distraction to the
yes,
action, like you
yes.
said. That's good right there.
Thank you,
Let's see.
thank
Let's
you.
go connect with our people again. Go ahead and see what Nelson is saying. Then this is Nelson from Arkansas.
Yes, yes. Nothing stays on my mind too busy. And then it says, it sounds like me. My life is boring. That sounds like me. Really, Nelson? Well, we got to get you off
Oh
of that
no.
slide today, you know. And Nita says, I decided a long time ago to not be bored. That's great.
Yes.
Wonderful.
That's and that, you know what? That's a
Good.
decision.
Thank you. That was my next
It's
word right
a
there.
decision.
Yes.
Decisions, the valley of decisions.
Right.
You know, we're making decisions all day
Yeah.
to be bored or
Right.
not to be bored.
Yes.
You know, what are some of the things that you would do to combat that boredom?
Right.
What are
Let
some
me
things that you find to do to combat boredom? And in the
absolutely.
comments, let us know what are some things that you do when you make up your mind. I'm not going to be bored.
Right.
What do you do? What's your go-to, or what is that thing that helps you ease out of that inaction?
Absolutely.
Go
And
ahead, Mike.
and just to add a little bit more to that is that, man, there's so many simple things that, I mean, we fail to realize that what we said, the lack of taking action. Sometimes just walking outside of that front door can open your mind to a whole new experience.
Yes.
When some people say that they may be bored, just something as simple as driving down the street to get an ice cream cone, even if you're by yourself, sitting in a park, or just watching people live their lives. You never know how you're impacted by somebody else's decisions to act. See, when you see, how many times have you asked yourself or seen something else happening around you and you said, man, that looks fun.
Yeah.
You know what? I've never learned how to do that. Maybe I'll think about doing something like this. Because you talked about skating. You wish that you did, because then you would be in the game rather than sitting on the sidelines. But that was the decision and the inaction to take action. But see, I learned how to skate as a child, and I still skate to this day. So that's funny how that goes together, because what I learned about skating, it's better to be in the game than on the sidelines, just like basketball, like football. Remember the times of being active, but you know what? If you wanted to get in the game bad enough, what did you do? You sat there, you rocked back and forth. You couldn't wait for the opportunity to get your number
it's my
so
turn.
you could get in the game.
Yeah.
And boredom is the exact same way. If you can bring yourself to a place and understand that there's more to life, there's more to live, there's more to do. And it's not always about staying busy. Sometimes, like I said, I could stay in my own house and not be bored, because I'm doing exactly what I want to do. Sometimes, and this may be, Dr. Hilly, I don't know about you, maybe this just comes with age. As you start to get older, you don't mind being you spend a little time by yourself. You don't mind it being a little quiet in the house. So I understand fully what it means to be bored, but I also understand that when I am by myself, I still do not have to be bored. There's plenty of things that we can find that entertain ourselves, entertains our minds. I mean, remember, entertains our minds. When we can entertain our minds with other things that we have interest in, the boredom will leave you instantly.
Yeah, one of the things that I always have loved is reading.
Yes.
I always have just enjoyed reading, and I would read novels. I used to read novels because I would, on the bus going back and forth to work in my 20s, I was on the bus a lot. And so I would have a novel, and that novel would carry me to work, from work. Well, I look up, and it's time to get off I wouldn't be bored at all. Just being on, I especially like the kind of, what do they call them, where you have to think who did it,
right?
Who done it. Yeah, I
the
love
mysteries,
those.
the mysteries.
Yeah, mystery type thing, because it makes your mind work. I just love those. And sometimes that's what life that's what real life is like. What do I need to do?
Yes.
Not so much that I need to do what Johnny did, or what Angie did, or what Sally's doing. I need to find out what I would like to do. What somebody asked you, well, what do you do for fun? And you said, well, I don't have one, so I don't know.
Right.
Said, well, you got to start exploring some things,
Yes.
I tell people sometimes, I was talking to a group of young ladies, some teenagers, and I said, so what is it that you would like to do with your life? One of them, she knew exactly what she wanted to do one day, hopefully. The other two of them did, and it was three girls. One of them, she had not a clue.
Right.
She said she didn't. She said she didn't have a clue. So here I go, I kick in with these questions, and I finally asked something as simple as, what's that one thing that you've thought about doing? You don't really talk about it to other people, but when you even think about it, it makes you giggle. It makes you go, like just the thought of it makes you think, oh wow, that's so big, or that's so much, or can I really do this? And she knew exactly the answer to that question.
Right.
So it's always there, and it's just a matter of having a coach
Yes.
on this side of life, working as you're a motivational speaker and you're speaking to young people, right, all the time.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
so you want to help them to use their minds,
Yes.
to use their minds.
Yes. And let me give you just a little bit, if I could, about understanding, because when I talk about my book, Mental Real Estate, and this is my global initiative to do more to help people all over the world, not just in the US, is that what I say all the time is that there's positive and there are negative contributors to your mindset. Now, we spoke a lot, Hillary, about some of the most positive things that we can talk about when it comes to boredom. How do we get ourselves out of that? How can we do more? How can we change the way that we think that helps us add value internally so that externally it can be seen in a brighter light? But let me say something real quick, is that when we're talking about the mental real estate and the aspect of boredom, be very careful, because boredom can also lead you in the wrong direction. Now, how many times have you been stuck on the couch or been with your friends that you didn't really talk to, but you was just in the place or the position? And guess what? Somebody comes to you because you're not doing anything. You don't appear to be interested in nothing. And they say, hey, you want to go with me? And you say, yeah, I ain't doing nothing. And it ends up taking you down the wrong path. I can't tell you what that path is, but what am I saying is be careful. But even though we deal with boredom, understand that boredom, if people hit you at the right time, as they say, you can be very vulnerable to boredom.
Yes.
When you become vulnerable to boredom, then guess what? It can lead you, and you may go because it's something to do, but it can put you in a bad position, and it can also put you in a bad place. So you want to be careful with that, because I know quite a few people who have made bad decisions on being bored. And then we don't want to see people, just because you're bored, take on the first thing that comes to you. Evaluate your situation.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to make sure that when you do those things, that you keep in mind exactly who you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing it. This is what we're talking about when it comes to boredom, to help us understand that we can bring ourselves out of a place that we don't want other people to put us in. Well, let me say that again. We can use what we have to bring ourselves out of a place that we don't want other people to put us in. That's the boredom, guys. So let's live this life.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier. It can lead you to this is the very thing that's lurking behind school dropouts.
Yes.
And then after having a year like we had in 2020, you can only imagine how many people that were bored.
Right.
How many young people that was bored because they didn't have that camaraderie. They didn't have that being able to be with their friends and learn together, and sports and all of that stuff. Obesity, when you get bored, most people, I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes when I'm bored, I eat and say, you know what? I ate that and it didn't even satisfy nothing. I just wasted my calories for nothing. And then you feel some kind of way behind it. But obesity and rising crime, the crime that we're seeing today and with so many young people, like you just talked about, being egged on by their peers, just out of sheer boredom.
Right.
And nothing to do but giving in to this quick fun, quick excitement at other people's expense.
Yes.
We're seeing that just way, way too much all over the country. And like you said, it's not all peachy. It can lead to depression. For some people, it can get when Alan Karuba, when he started that fictitious institute, he called it the Boring Institute. Wow. All those letters that filed in, he said the number one, the base of almost all of those letters was, I'm bored. What can you help me to do about it? Yes. And then sometimes people are looking for somebody else to do something about their boredom.
Wow.
And you just talked about how you got to take responsibility.
Yes. One word comes to mind. One word comes to mind when you said that. One word came straight to me: fulfillment. So many times in boredom, people are looking for fulfillment in order to be able to get through their boredom. They want somebody to make them feel good, make them laugh, say something that helps me get through my day. And you know what? Let's be honest. Sometimes that's a real place. Sometimes we do need somebody that we trust, that we care about, to help pour into us, because sometimes we never know what the minds what the mind is doing. We never know where the places and the positions that people have put themselves in or have been forced to be in. See, we don't necessarily understand, because listen, one thing that we know that is always hard is life. And in life, we also understand that we lose life. There are a lot of people that we're attached to that we love so much that we lose. Now, this is a very sticky subject, because we understand that this is something that is granted to happen. If you live this life, at some point you're going to lose. And see, this is why I say it's important sometimes to connect yourself with people who know you, who you trust, and who value you enough to say, listen, I see you've been sitting at the house. And this is the other side of mental real estate. When we're talking about boredom, anti-boredom, you also have an obligation to see to the people that you know may be sitting on that couch. See, sometimes we'll turn a deaf ear and walk away because it doesn't concern us. It may not matter to us as much, because guess what? It's not our problem. But when we're talking to other people and we understand that they may be hurting, somebody over there is hurting, and they may need you just to make a phone call to change the whole direction of their day, you got to make the call. Because if you don't make the call, for me personally, if I don't make the call, I deal with that. I live with that. I feel that, man, I should have. How many times have you done that, Hill, when you walked away because you had something to do and you say, I should have called, or I meant to call and I just didn't have the time? You know what? I'm going to make the time right now.
Right.
Because that's life. It's life changing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, when I get unctions like that, I try to act right away, because life gets, it sometimes for me, and I know I'm not the only one, the thought will come and I say, oh, I need to do it, but I'm gonna do this first and then I'm gonna get to it. And you look up, it's 2 weeks gone by, you know, and in some cases that people are no longer here, they're feeling this at all, man. Oh man.
Yes.
You know. But just like with COVID going through 2020, it forced everybody to look within, to become aware of themselves. Because when we went through the lockdown, the isolation, you know, a lot of people were stuck with themselves, you know, in ways that they never had to deal with themselves for 24/7 like that. Right. Because it was always work. It was always something else to run to do, to take up that time to quiet out that noise lurking in the background.
Yes.
You know, let's see what we got. Some more comments here. We're doing all the talking. Let's see.
That's all right. That's all right. Good stuff. Thank you.
This is Dorothy Ross. She says the mind is a dangerous place to be empty. Woo.
Yes.
When there's so much more for us to put our thoughts active with to help ourselves. Oh, that's absolutely
good. Yes.
True.
Yes.
It's a danger. Say that mind is a terrible thing to waste. You remember that campaign?
Now. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Dorothy.
Yes, she also said, read this comment she made.
Board is not in my purse because there's many ways for me to organize it and to change from one purse to another. all I got is a wallet. I don't know how I'm gonna fix this up, but that was a good one. Thank you, Dorothy. Yes.
And then Dr. Lotus, read that one for me. I'm trying to get these comments we've been missing.
Yes, entrepreneurs can't win a championship sitting on the sidelines. They must get in the game and master it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And master what it is you're called to master, not master somebody else's business. Master your own business.
That's right. Yes.
Say yes. Always best to be the active player in our business. And let's see, what is Nita from Oklahoma? She says, go ahead.
Yeah, she says, I can't leave my house right now. Still not bored. Thank you. I guess we're doing some good today then. Thank you so much.
She's recuperating and saying, I'm still not going to be bored. I like that.
There you go.
Here's Yolanda Smith.
Yes.
You know, Yolanda, no, Shaheed.
Yes, Yolanda Shaheed, friend of mine. Speak, Dr. Michael Freeland. Amen. Thank you so much for being there. Yes.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be boring. I thought my topic was a boring topic until I delved in a little deeper and I said, oh, this is going to be so good. Yes. Shannon Mitchell, she says, reset your mind.
Absolutely.
And that's what we have to do, a series of reset those calibrations because they're happening anyway. Absolutely. We have to listen, pay attention. Mm-hmm. Like you listen to your body, you have to listen to your mind. What is it really telling you?
Right.
And I'm going to thank Elder Roberts, Laverne Roberts. She's watching in tonight.
Amen.
My mom is here. She said, this has been good.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Yes.
much, Apostle Christine Gooden. And let's see. Yeah, one more comment here. All right, lady. Hillary Gooden, indeed. Yes,
Indeed.
this
Yes.
is so good. So we're at 6:42.
Yes.
And as much as I would love to keep talking about this, and I know we could keep talking about this,
That we
but
could.
I want us to get acquainted with you. So this is where I'm going to let you tell us more about you that you want to tell us. And if you've got any questions or based on what he's saying, put it in the comments, and I'll make sure we try to get some secret sauce out of Mike, DJ Mike, Dr. Mike tonight.
Yes.
So I'm gonna let you have this.
Okay. Hey, listen, if you haven't known me, I'm Dr. Michael Freeland, also known as DJ Mike J. The speaking world has been generous, and God has blessed me to do what I'm doing. It's been a phenomenal life and journey to this point. And I tell you one thing that I know is that the vision is real. And when you have a vision, you have an obligation to act on that vision. When God has gave me the vision to create a book right here called Free Your Land and Develop Your Mental Real Estate, I had no idea that this book was going to take off through my city, through the states, and through the next country. But what I do understand is that I have an obligation. See, and in the position that I'm in, this is a position that you just cannot get too high in. You have to stay humble, you have to stay grateful, and you have to stay hungry. And because if you don't, this thing that we call a journey just doesn't last long. I came into this business as a DJ. I started this business based off of, if you read the book, you would understand that I was born with a life-stricken condition, and it's a very rare condition called Milroy's disease. And this disease has plagued me throughout my entire life, even right now as I sit here in my left leg. So I've had illness and sickness throughout my entire life. And to put it all in a nutshell, when I was younger, I had to find other ways to cope and deal with who I am, what I wanted to do. I dealt with the depression. I dealt with the boredom. I dealt with the inactivity, staying away from other people, because I knew that if I was around other people, I would become a laughing stock where people would make fun of me. I didn't always understand that there was potential in what they was laughing at. See, and that's the thing that I understand, is that when people laugh at you, because at some point in our lives, guess what? We do become the joke. It's not funny. And see, when it's funny to other people, but when it's not funny to you, what do? See, in that part right there, it's what sets you within yourself. It saddles you, it puts you back, and it helps you understand that, listen, I may not be able to do what I thought because I'm tired of hearing them say this. I can't achieve the things that I wanted to do in my life because I'm tired of hearing them say this. But see, what I did was I started to gravitate to music at a very, very young age. It was in my family. We had singers. We had ministers in the family. It was always church choir rehearsal and all those things. But as I got older, music became my ministry, where I understood that I couldn't have conversations with other people. I could have conversations with the music. Because, see, people would make songs, and I know I'm not the only one out there. Some of y'all could probably put a song in the feed right now that speaks exactly to who you are. And when I used the music, not only did it help me understand more about Michael Freeland, but it helped me to heal from the inside. And see, once I became healed from the inside, then I could understand that, listen, what I have going on the outside can't be touched. And so I made the music my business. And what I did in learning that is that the music helped other people. It wasn't just for me, not anymore. The music became my ministry. Because when I speak to people through the music, and if you've ever had an experience with DJ Mike J, you would fully understand that what we do and what I do with the music and how we come together brings about a change in a lot of people. It speaks to people in ways that natural conversations just don't. So I became DJ Mike J, and guess what? This is my 30-year anniversary. This year is my 30-year anniversary as a DJ. And it's hard to imagine that in this journey, I've been doing this for 30 years. But I'm honored and I'm proud. Because why? Because the vision is real, and I act the vision every day, because the vision is not about me. It's about you. And every time I have an opportunity to share my vision with others, I will do it. I will stand in the gap, because you have no idea. And I'll give you this real quick, and then I'm going to turn this back over, is that, listen, I did a party for, it was a very big ball. It was very celebratory. But at the end of the night, I did a great job. And people usually come up and say, hey, DJ Mike J, you did a wonderful job. I say, thank you. I say, thank you. But particularly this one time, there was this elderly lady who walked up, and it was an all-age event. It was an elderly lady who came up to me. And when she came up to me, she said, DJ, and I was wrapping wires. And I turned around and I looked and I said, yes, ma'am. She says, you did a phenomenal job. I said, thank you. And I turned around, I kept doing it. And she says, no, excuse me. I said, you did a wonderful job. I said, ma'am, thank you so much. I appreciate that, because I wanted her to know how sincere I was. But here's what she says. She says, I don't think you understand. She said, I haven't danced with my husband in over 30 years. And I want to thank you just for doing what you do with the music, because for whatever reason, what you did tonight gave me something that I haven't felt from my husband in years. And I owe you a thanks of gratitude. It changed my life. I can't say enough about what it means to do what you're called to do, what it means to stay in your purpose, because people will be blessed by what you do as long as you continue to do that. Thank you, Dr. Hillary Gooden. I'm going to be quiet.
Wow. I do know from experience that listening to you play music and go through your listening to your mind tell you what to play, it is an experience. Yes, and you know, and it's an experience every Thursday, I think, right?
Yes. Well, not every Thursday. I try not to create the expectation, because sometimes I have things to do. But on Thursday nights, I do show up sometimes, and I just play the music to help people get through their week, to get through their day. Because as my motto says, is DJ Mike J, it's not about the music. It's always, always about the experience. And we create the experience every time we get a chance to get together. And I can't wait, Hillary, in Kansas City, when on September 18th, when we get an opportunity to get together and have a full live mental real estate conference, where I get to celebrate 30 years of being DJ Mike J with one of the most powerful conferences, with speakers with the likes of the King, the Ambassador, the Doctor, the Sir. Clyde Rivers is going to be in attendance. Not only that, also a great friend in Dr. Lotus Lachey, the Dr. Sakoni Prince. We got speakers from across the country that are coming to be a part of this fantastic celebration that you do not want to miss. This is going to be epic. And it is what? The first annual. And I can already tell you, we're hitting the bricks with this one, and we're going to hit the ground running, and we're not going to stop, because guess what? Mental real estate belongs to everyone. And we want to make sure that we reach as many people as we can to help them understand what it means to possess their own mental real estate.
Yes. And so this is going to be September the 18th. That's a Saturday. It's going to be all day.
Yes.
All day into the night. And in Kansas City, Missouri. I should have said Kansas City, Missouri. And you can get more information by clicking the link. Take a screenshot, take a picture of, make sure you come back in the comments. Somebody can put that in the comments for us. bit.ly/mental-real-of-state. And it's case sensitive. So that's a capital M, a capital R, and a capital S. bit.ly/mental-real-of-state. And it's going to be an awesome event, celebrating your 30 years and celebrating the first of more conferences to come.
Absolutely.
And so, this has really been amazing. We're getting to the top of the hour. Let's see a few comments that we missed. And I'm just so glad that this is, how you say, he also did this, he wasn't a doctor, Alan Karuba. He did this because July, after the 4th of July, there don't seem to be nothing as far as holidays until September.
Right.
And then, you know, to say that you're bored where there's nothing to do, there's all kind of things to do, actually, you know, in the summertime. But just don't just wait on the holiday. Just make holidays, make some special days, some special moments. Even if you don't have time in your life to take a holiday away or a vacation away. You know, they have what they call staycations. Find
Yes.
something to do in your city, you
Yes.
know, and because it's very real. Sometimes the money's not there, but there
Right.
got to be things that we can do things because you know what? You got children,
Yes.
and I know when you're with your children, they just are full of energy and always want to next. Where we going?
Yes, they do.
And you have to be ready.
Yes, you do. I tell you what, there's nothing like a staycation. I tell you that because listen, sometimes you just appreciate the fact of you ain't doing nothing. I work, I put in the time, and, you know, and a lot of times we all work hard. I mean, and just being honest, there's a lot of work that gets put in from so many people all over, you know, and some of us have the luxury of working from home, some of us don't. But when you have an opportunity to just, you know, stay at home, they say, what are you doing for your vacation? I'll be right here at the house. I'm going to barbecue. I'm going to watch
Relax.
TV. I'm going to put my feet up. You know, I'm going to find something that I haven't had a chance to do in quite a while. And sometimes we know chores is always going to be there. When you start thinking about rearranging the living room when you're off work, when you start thinking about, I need to replace that washer and dryer when you're off work.
Right. That's
So
your
there's a lot of
mind
things.
to say it's plenty for you to do, my son.
That's right. Yep.
So
My
let's
kid.
see, Apostle Good and Christine. You can read that one for us.
It
I'm gonna
said, "To
see if
God
I
be
can
the
find some more.
yes, said, to God be the glory. I am hungry and thirsty for the good of God. Amen." Thank you. Yes.
And then she also said here, I love how God writes songs through us. He gives my
Yes.
mother songs, he gives me songs, you know,
Yes.
and we hum it enough. And she's been fortunate enough to get some music done to her, to the songs that God has given her, you know,
Amen.
in those
Yes.
times of after prayer, or sometimes they come just out of the blue, just rise up in your spirit, you know,
Yes.
the beautiful thing.
Yes.
And let's see, what is Yolanda, what is she saying?
She says, "Love it. Keep pushing. Beautiful, heartfelt story. God uses you to touch lives. Blessed." Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay, and Lotus says, get your tickets today. She put the
Absolutely.
link in the comment. So
Yes.
there should be a clickable link in the comment that you can click on, and it'll take you to a page where all the information is so that you can get your ticket today.
Yes.
Let's see. And she just said that, I think. The link is here in the chat. Click on the link and get your ticket.
Absolutely.
Angela, what is she saying here?
Congratulations, Mike, on your 30 years of fabulous work. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Yolanda says, absolutely and indeed to everything we've said, I'm sure. And
Thank
so
you.
this
Yes.
has been a really great time, Mike.
Thank
I'm
you.
just so I asked you for two things that you do. Besides, were you trying to tell me you fix the refrigerator and mop the floors? Is that what you do to
Hey,
take up time when you're bored?
I'll do whatever I got to do, because a lot of times that's when you're bored. That's when you find stuff to do, or at least you should, because that's when I realize, oh man, I haven't cleaned this refrigerator out in a minute. I need to get in here and empty some stuff out. So yeah, so then the trash can gets filled up outside. So yeah, in
Yeah.
between
Well,
that, you know, and rearranging furniture, you know, I like different looks. My home, I like to have
okay.
a good. And my mother taught us that as a kid. You know, the only way you're gonna clean a house is you got to move stuff. So we would always
Move stuff
rearrange
around.
furniture. Yeah, so we could get the house
Okay.
clean.
So in the comments, give us at least one thing that you do when you find yourself getting bored. I think I asked for that earlier, but I'm asking again. Just put it in the
Yes.
comment. What's one thing you do? You know, you
Yes.
could go out, like you mentioned earlier, go outside,
Yes.
take in nature, some
Yes.
fresh air. That
Yes.
can and take a walk. It's amazing how when you walk, your mind starts uh, just active. It gets activated and it gives you
Yes.
answers to stuff that you've been struggling with to get the answers to. How you going to do
Absolutely.
this? How you going to do that? How's this going to work? And
Yes.
when you take a nice little walk, it don't have to be a mile or 2 miles. Just a nice
Right.
leisurely walk can help you to your mind to, how can I say, to like cipher through some of that stuff and say,
Yes.
here's the solution. Here's the
Yes.
person you need to call. You
You
know.
know, and one thing that I'd like to do, I mean, and I'll just throw this out there because we're asking the question, is that one of the things I
Mhm.
like to do on the like on my weekends or when I'm off work, I like to wake up early. Of course, you know, I see Yolanda says pray. Absolutely
Yes.
right. That's always a good start to any day. But
Yes.
I'm a tea drinker. I like my hot tea, you
Oh,
know, and
okay.
even in the summertime, I still like to have my hot cup. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll fix my cup and I'll go sit outside at the first break of the day. Because if you notice that at the first break of the day, it is always the freshest time to breathe air.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when you go outside and it's early, it may be just a little cool, or the heat of the day hasn't started. It just has a good feel or a gentle breeze. I love that. So I like to sit outdoors and have my hot cup and just sit there and sip on my tea and just watch the neighborhood because it's quiet. You hear the birds chirping. Some of the things in life that we just take for granted, I try to take it all in.
That sounds,
Yes.
just listening to you talk about it, I could feel that. And
Yes.
I'm gonna give you a moment to just talk a little bit because I got to get my light situation going on here.
Okay, no problem. I see you. Yes, I see you. Shannon says you spoke my mind. Walk the lake and connect with God. Absolutely. Listen, man, this has been phenomenal. I can't say enough about Dr. Hillary Gooden and the vision that she has, the lymphologist. She has got this thing going on. And listen, she has my full support. And every time that I have an opportunity to speak to people, I'm going to do just that. You know, I've always been taught that there's no such thing as a bad microphone. You just got to get it and start talking.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
That's right.
So thank you
There's
again, and I
always
appreciate
more.
you, Dr. Hillary Gooden. I appreciate you.
So
And
let's see, Nelson. Let me see. He says, "Where are you located, Mike? May need a DJ to celebrate my 52nd birthday."
absolutely, I'm by the way closest to Kansas City, so reach out
And
to
he's
me.
in
I mean,
Arkansas.
that's all right. Did you hear what she said? I'm an
The
international DJ.
traveler.
I travel. I hit the road. I'm not a club DJ. So that's what separates me from everybody else. I'm a total
Yeah.
clean, sensible man. And you know what? I always put in the work. So there's never a time where you would ever be disappointed with my work. So please reach out to me. You can reach me at Michael Freeland on my Facebook page. You can messenger me or also hit me at DJMike J or DJMJ.freeland4@gmail.com. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
That was a lot.
She
But I
said,
thank
what?
that was a lot. But you know what? I thank you for being on here, and I thank you for being the one to kick off this July, the National Anti-Boredom Month. And
Right.
we're gonna go ahead and give our last, our last word for today, our last word of encouragement,
Yes.
inspiration. You're a motivational speaker, just something that you want to leave the people with.
Yes.
And before we close this out for tonight, this has really been amazing, and I love you for it. I'm going to give you the floor once again for your last words. And once you give your last words, I'm going to ask you to wait for me backstage, okay?
Absolutely. One of the things I wanted to share with you guys, listen, for one, it's an honor. Anti-boredom day is serious. We should always make sure that we take these type of events serious. When we have an opportunity to connect with something that is created to help other people, we need to be a part of it. Not only do we need to be a part of it, but we need to stand out in what we believe, because what we believe will help other people. And see, a lot of times, some people need to see your belief before they can believe. It's hard to imagine, but it is true. Even though we want to give people the belief, say, hey, girl, or hey, man, what's wrong with you? I know you got this. You can do this. It's not the same. Some people are going through so much that the only way they can see is through your eyes. That's just why I say that we have an obligation. When it comes to anti-boredom, what do we do to help sustain ourselves from being bored? And what do we do to help pick people up when we notice that they may be bored, but it may be a little something else a little deeper than that? Boredom may have gotten somebody to the place of depression. Boredom may have gotten somebody to the place of anger, of acting out, or even quitting and walking away. So we want to make sure that when we talk about anti-boredom, that we treat this with delicacy and understand that what we have to offer is going to be on the table and somebody's going to pick up what you're putting down. And you want to make sure that what you give is something that they can actually receive. Okay, false hopes, false dreams, we don't want to do that. That leads to danger, and it's dangerous. So we want to protect not only ourselves, but protect the people that we come in contact with, protect the people that we come in connection with, because we know that life matters, and life matters. So why do you have to be bored? I don't want anybody to be bored, guys. Let's keep this thing going. I thank you all, and I appreciate you for having Dr. Michael Freeland on this show. Thank you, Hillary Gooden. I appreciate you for what you do, and God bless you again. There you go. I think I hear you now.
Okay, I didn't mean
I
to
got
cut you off,
you. That's okay.
but I was muted. Thank you
That's all
so
right.
much.
Thank you.
Okay. Wow, this has really been amazing, and I'm just so excited about July. You know, I was thinking, I don't know if I got a good one here, but I have got what's needed right now. You know, going into we're in the second half of 2021, and a lot of places are open, and we're moving about, and we're getting back to normal, what new normal. And yet we have other things that are going on, you know, that make you still be in a preventive mode if you're, you know, want to be proactive. But you know, with this anti-boredom that could lead to depression, that could lead to suicide, that is possibly a reason why we're having rising crime in our cities. You know, we want to not only look out for ourselves, like Dr. Mike was saying, you want to be mindful of those that you know and love, those that you come in contact with, that you can have one question. They may be one question away from somebody just asking them, how are you today? You know, I remember talking to a guy, and I asked him that simple question. I said, how are you doing today? And he looked really surprised. I didn't know, did I ask the wrong thing or what's going on? He left, he came back. He said, Miss Hillary, he said, you know, earlier you asked me, how am I doing? He said, nobody ever asked me that before. Nobody ever asked me how I'm doing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sometimes it's just those little things of caring, just showing your ability to care for your fellow man could make all the difference in somebody's day. And so, you know, find something to do that's going to ignite you. Like Lotus always said, Dr. Lotus, something that's going to help you to ignite and take flight in every area of your life, especially that area where you're feeling bored. If it means leaving the house, taking a walk, if it means putting on some nice music, whether it's Susan or it got a great beat to it, whatever you feeling right then, do what you can so that you can stay vibrant. You want to experience that vibrant life. And you know, if I ask you about what kind of exercise maybe you would do to help boost your mood, you already know I'm going to tell you that bouncing is going to do you good and it's going to help to boost your mood. But just be mindful, this is anti-boredom month, and it's not something that's simple. When you dig a little deeper, it it needs to be dealt with. Don't let it get you. You are overcomer. So I thank you for being here. Come follow me. Make sure that you follow me or you like my page, or you're on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe to my page so that you'll get notifications when I go live. This program is every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. The Let's Get Acquainted with Hillary Gooden. And then every Tuesday, I am on my other show, which is the Vibrant Good Health Show. And it's about talking about all things to help you, help your body, help you live a more vibrant life by way of more vibrant health. And that's again every Tuesday, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. This show every Thursday. And I have a different guests that'll be on each day, each Thursday this month. And this will be our basic topic and theme for the month, anti-boredom month. Thank you so much for being with me. And I think let me see, because I'm past my hour. So let me see here. But Kathy Williams was getting her final comment in saying, yes, Yolanda said, truly, let's see, I'm going to read this last one. Truly enjoyed your podcast, Dr. Hillary. And everybody's calling me doctor. Laverne said, we needed this. Your podcast, may God continue to bless you. Thank you so much. And I received that. And so I'm going to bid you all good night and find something to do that's exciting and pass it on to others. God bless you.